back to my channel. It is Molly here with another video. So today I thought I would bring you something a little bit more personal, and I would sit down with you guys and I would talk to some of the young mums to be, mums who have been, about my experience of recovering postpartum after having my baby. So first of all, little disclaimer, this is my first baby, so it's not like I've got all the, all the life truths about having a baby, and also I didn't overly prepare for it because in a sense I didn't want to know too much. So I was aware that you bleed after and things like that, and that you have contractions, all that kind of jazz I was kind of aware of, but I didn't really focus on it. So I thought I would share with you guys, if you did want to be a little bit more informed, what I did that helped and how long it took me to recover and everything afterwards. So I will leave some cards for some less TMI content if you've just stumbled across my channel and this isn't your cup of tea. So I'm not going to be offended if you don't want to watch this, but I think it may be really helpful to some people. If you enjoy my content, I do baking, lifestyle, mummy videos. If that sounds like your cup of tea, please do subscribe, stick around. Pop that notification bell on so you don't miss any of my uploads. I do upload twice a week, on a Monday and a Friday at the moment, so it would be really great if you could stick around. So let's jump straight into the video. When I had my daughter, obviously afterwards you have pads and pants and things like that, to control the mess, and I found this is something I didn't do but I wish I had done for all my products like pads and disposable pants and things like that. I wish I had had a basket in my bathroom to keep them all close by, just by the toilet, so you don't end up having to get up and walk an extra little distance to go get the products you need. So I would advise doing that. It doesn't have to be fancy, but I certainly did not enjoy having to walk across the bathroom all the time to get my pads and my spray and things like that, because as much walking as you can reduce, as much possible walking, like as little possible walking you can do is best for a few weeks afterwards. So that's a little tip I do have. As far as actually physically having a baby, I went and I asked my mum when I was pregnant, what, I'm scared. I mean, most people are, aren't they? There's this kind of, oh my goodness, what's going to happen, fear of the unknown, etc. And I said to her, what's it like having a baby? So yeah, I don't know where I was, but yeah, she said it's nasty at the time, but it passes and you forget about it. Not forget about it, you remember it, but you kind of forget the pain. I know that sounds weird, but I certainly have. It does pass, and I found that it passed quite quickly. Within about 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, I was really kind of starting to think, actually I'm starting to feel a bit better in myself. Obviously I wasn't physically up to it as I had been pre-pregnancy, but I was starting to get on that treadmill and I was starting to move forward and starting to feel a little bit better. So short term, you've just had your baby and your ladies region is on fire. So what I used to do to help combat this, whenever I needed a wee, I would actually jump in the shower. I did this for about 3 or 4 days after I first had Robin, and I found that this meant that your urine doesn't sting if you've had to have stitches, or you've torn, or you've had a section or something. So yeah, I should mention I did give birth vaginally. I didn't have a C-section, so if you've had a C-section or something, obviously it's going to be completely different recovery, different recovery time. But it gets any blood, it keeps you clean, sanitary, and for my peace of mind, I knew I was less likely to get an infection because I was having a shower 3 or 4 times a day. And yeah, that helped me. On a similar note to that is spray bottles. So I know there's loads of like Perry bottles and mum spritzers and loads of these, but I actually just got a pack of 5 bottles for about £2.50 off Amazon, little bottles like that. And what I did is I had one full of water, and there's actually something to be said for having a small one because it's more kind of manoeuvrable. I know that sounds silly, and if that's not your cup of tea, I totally get that, but I actually just got a small one. So what I did with that is, I'm going off piece, I have a plan here and I'm slowly going off it. But yeah, first of all, I would spray to clean with my little bottle. Also, because it was smaller, I had to change the water more regularly, so you know that's clean as well. So yeah, I would have a little spray, and then afterwards I actually had another spray bottle, exactly the same, which had baby oil in it. So obviously this isn't really going to harm you or hurt you or anyway. I know lots of people have witch hazel pads and things, but that wasn't something I was able to invest in at the time. So I did just grab a little bit of baby oil and I would just spray that on the area, and I found that really nice and calming, and it kind of softens any stitches if you've had stitches. And just makes the whole area a little bit more comfortable. So short term, that's really exciting too. So the next thing is for short term, just after you've given birth, and that's, I got some cold packs. So again, you can get these with popsicles. You can make them yourself, so you can add witch hazel and water and you can put them in your freezer. I did just get a couple of reusable ones because they were plastic on one side, so you could reuse them. I did get a few of those and I popped them in the freezer, and then I got them out, wrapped them in a little bit of toilet roll to protect them and to make sure that I didn't get any kind of cold burns or anything. And that worked really well for me. That was a lifesaver when I was feeling like it was getting a bit too much. I only used these for a couple of weeks after I gave birth, but they were a huge help. And obviously the coolness helps reduce any bruising you have. So that was a really nice one that I used a lot as well. I wore a waist trainer band. Now I know this can be a little bit radical, not everyone uses them, but I did. Now I'll tell you why. I didn't actually really use it to train my waist in the end. At first I felt quite self-conscious because you still feel quite pregnant after you've had a baby, because obviously your body still has all those fluids and blood and everything still in you. So I did get a waist trainer. But a funny thing is once you've had the baby, obviously it was filling up your stomach and now it's gone. You feel very empty, and you almost feel like I felt like there was a kind of hole here. So a waist trainer helped kind of comfort that feeling. It helped me get back to feeling like this body's just mine, I'm not sharing it with someone else, and that kind of pressure was really, really comforting early on after I had Robin. I did however leave it, made sure I left it about 10 days, I think nearly 2 weeks probably, before I had a waist trainer, just to make sure that I wasn't putting my body under any physical pressure, and I wasn't I wasn't kind of encouraging any kind of prolapse or anything like that. I did that. The other thing I did forget to write down on my list, I actually, you know when you kind of like clench area, I did start doing that pretty much straight away after I gave birth, because I was really worried about my insides dropping out. It's slightly irrational, but it did help me feel better. So the other thing is really, really super generic, and you've probably heard this 1,000 times, but that is disposable pants. The likelihood is your maternity pants, if you have them, and your old pants and your new body, nothing will match. It didn't for me anyway. So yeah, disposable pants are good. It's nice to know if you have a leak, you don't end up having to scrub for half an hour. Get some adult nappies, adult diapers, depending on where you came from. But yeah, they will be a lifesaver, but I know that's kind of mentioned in every single postpartum video you have ever seen in your entire life. So another thing I would say, and this is hard, especially if you've got more kids, and that is try and limit your walking. Walking for the first couple of weeks, I would not do it unnecessarily. Obviously you can't stop walking, but I would try and just reduce the amount, because it will help you recover quickly over that short period of time. But I kind of have, at this point it's kind of contradictory. Excuse me. Because longer term, with your postpartum recovery, you need to get outside and you need to start building up the exercise again. So I would say first couple of weeks, just take it easy, and then once your body feels ready and you feel less sore, trying to get outside with your baby if possible. This makes such a big difference. I've heard it time and time again from so many different mums and grandparents and everything, that getting yourself and your baby out for a walk as often as possible is a really, really great way to just lift your spirits a bit and help your body rebuild back to the point where it was before you had your baby. So yeah, take it easy at first and then gently do some walking, I would suggest. And I found when I went out, I always felt a bit better. Another thing is as young mums, and I mean, when I had my daughter, I was just 19. I felt like I had to prove a hell of a lot to the world. I felt like I had to be the best mum, I had to be the fittest, healthiest mum ever, I had to be achieving the most, I had to be doing all this stuff with my daughter, I had to give her the best care possible. And I didn't want to accept people helping me. I didn't want people to come in and help look after my daughter. I wanted to be able to do everything for her. Now, my position was very, very unique because we were in hospital for 2 months as my daughter was poorly when she was born. But I still felt that pressure to perform all the time as a mother, and also not to accept help, not to accept lifts to the hospital in our case, not to accept things like that because I wanted to do it myself. And actually you need to take that step back, and when someone says, oh, would you like a sandwich, which happened to me loads of times, and I'd go, no worries, no, I'm fine, don't worry about me, when secretly there was this pit in my stomach. I was expressing over there, I was so hungry, I wanted to pass out, but I was like, no, I can do this, stop, stop and think a minute and go, actually, thank you for that sandwich, I feel a lot better, and the quality of care I can now give my baby because someone else has looked after you is better. And isn't that kind of the point? So don't feel guilty if people offer you help and you accept it, because you're doing something amazing. You've just pushed a mini human out of you, which you spent 9 months growing. Your body's priority is healing, and you have a right to heal. You have a right to take a minute. You have a right for someone to come and give you a sandwich because you have done something incredible. So you've done something amazing, or you're about to do something so amazing. Hold on to that. You deserve a medal. You do not need to prove yourself to anyone. As long as you care for your baby and make sure they're okay, you have nothing to prove. So I'm going to stop with that rant now, because this video is becoming one long rant about postpartum recovery. The other thing I hear a lot, I didn't need to do this as much, because instead of my daughter waking us up and crying when she needs feeds, we have set a set routine and set. Yeah, I would suggest trying to sleep whenever they're quiet or dozy, even though when she was first young I didn't do this so much, I would say that now I do it more. I see that she's relaxed and she's gone to sleep, and I might be really tired, and I think, actually, I'm going to go to bed for half an hour, and I'm just going to revitalise myself and feel a bit better. Likewise, maybe with that time when they're asleep, instead of going, right, I'm going to clean the house and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that, if that makes you feel better, if that's what helps build you up, do that. I mean, in my case, that was what built me up, so I would clean and tidy. But it's also worth considering putting that makeup on, getting dressed, things like that, because you still have to value yourself, even though your little one is on this pedestal here and you're looking after them 24 hours a day. You need to remember about you, because if you don't remember about you, if you don't care about yourself, you can't effectively really care about them. That's just my opinion. Don't come for me. But as I said, this video is TMI, so yeah. I have a few other things that I would like to add in, and that's just things to be aware of. So the first thing to be aware of is I bled for about 2.5 to 3 weeks at least. But obviously in this time you start off slightly heavier than a period, I would say, and then for me it just kind of petered out slowly for about, I'd say only for about 4 days was it really heavy. But what I found about my period, well, the bleeding, postpartum bleeding afterwards, was that it was really heavy, and then it was just drips and drabs for quite a long time. So if you're dreading just a gush of blood, for me that didn't last particularly long, even though I did bleed for quite a while, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's just worth remembering. So quickly, I also just wanted to mention a few items that I wish I regret not having for my postpartum recovery. So these are things that I've done I've found in my research, or other people have suggested to me, or I just wasn't particularly able to get at the time. And the first thing is witch hazel. Now I hear so many people rave about witch hazel and witch hazel pads, and well, I've heard a lot of times that people's postpartum recovery has been much sped up by this product, and this is not something that I've heard just once. I've heard it everywhere. I hear it all the time. Maybe if you've done more research on postpartum recovery, you will be aware of witch hazel. Obviously I can't say try it, it's amazing, it's a miracle, because I haven't personally tried it, but I do regret not getting it. The other thing I really regret not getting, and I heard of quite recently, is that when you've just had your baby, sitting down is the most uncomfortable thing ever, and I had to like fold pillows, so what I discovered is, you can get like those blow up donut cushions, you can sit on those. I would really suggest that, because suddenly you can sit anywhere like a relatively normal person again, just slightly elevated. And I mean that links into my last kind of short term point is, don't skimp on yourself. I thought, right, okay, I'm not going to get myself this, I'm going to get the baby this, and I think most of us, when we're planning to have a baby, maybe don't have all that spare cash to throw around at ourselves, but I would definitely say don't skimp on products for yourself. You need something which makes you feel good, so that you can then go on and you can care for other people. And if you don't invest in yourself, whether that's time, products, whatever, getting someone else to help you, your partner taking extra time off, I don't know, whatever that means to you, take that little extra care of yourself if you can. I know it's not always possible, I know it's so tiring, but do take best care of yourself as you can. I did forget to say in my last when I was ranting about breastfeeding, is I did use lanolin for my nipples. I don't know why that felt so wrong, saying nipples online. Lanolin is safe for babies, if you're breastfeeding, I'm pretty sure it's cruelty free. It's tasteless for them, and it's hella cooling on that area. Yeah. Anyway, let's keep going. After you have a baby, you're given about 6 weeks when your doctor says you can't do anything. If you've had more stitches and things, this time can be extended. But for most people, it's about 6 weeks before they start saying you can kind of start to do exercise. Now, I actually left it about 2.5, 3 months before I started thinking about exercise. I was walking and things like that, but I found that actually just letting my body heal, wearing my waist support quite loosely, helped, and I just kind of let my body get on with it. Before I started really kind of pulling my core in. When I first started working out quite intensely after I had a baby, it was hard work, because obviously I lost a lot of core strength, but also it was quite a strange sensation afterwards. It wasn't the same kind of workout burn that I first had when I was working out on my come back pillow. And I would suggest just building it up slowly with your exercise and not pushing yourself too hard. Another thing I would say, if you are pregnant, a huge thing I did regret not doing when I was pregnant was working out more, because it did slow down my recovery process. And I think you hear from a lot of people that if they work out a lot during their pregnancy, that really helps, not only through labour but also through recovery. I was so unfit going into labour. I mean, I'm not even gonna lie, I was really unfit. I didn't do enough exercise beforehand, I didn't do enough preparation physically, and I really paid for it. I was in labour for 30 hours and my recovery was, it was quite fast, but physically I was not very strong, and not as strong as I would have liked to come out of pregnancy. So it's never too late to start exercising when you're pregnant. I know it feels impossible when you've got this huge bowl in your stomach, but even just a little walk or something will help, and I would really suggest trying to stay fit as you can during your pregnancy, ready for having your baby, because it does make the aftermath a lot easier. So, I have ranted, I've ranted, I've shared with you what I believe in, and yeah, these are just a few of my postpartum recovery things that you might enjoy. So, if you enjoyed my video, please smash that thumbs up button. If you enjoy my content, please do subscribe to my channel, and do comment down below of any video ideas you would like to see in the future, because I would absolutely love your input. So again, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all again very soon. Bye!